to never stop. I've been stressed out, watching both these hands around the clock. With my eyes wide, trying to get the panorama shot. Whole world getting blurry to me, answers getting lost. So I watch my back and keep it moving to the front. And remember that the world's yours, do it how you want. You've been waiting here for too long, think it's time for you to move on. Realize that there's realize in these real times to be strong.
I've been waiting all my life, and it was right before my eyes. Watching all this time slip by, now I realize. You know I've been waiting, 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 waiting. Will you wait for me?
Yo, what is going on, guys? Your boy Master Chief Destroyer here, back at it again with another r/entitled Parents Reaction. This is episode 9, so without further ado, let's get into this. This one was posted by the user The Peace Creator about 3 hours ago. EP destroys my friend's $3,000 bionic arm and tries to flee the scene. Hello again, I've come with another story, but this time under the category of entitled parents. Sorry for the formatting, I'm on mobile. EM is entitled mom, IK is innocent child, me equals, well, me, duh. Friend, F is friend, yada yada yada. Buckle your seatbelts because I'm sparing no details, this is going to be a long one. Some background. As the title suggests, this post is not about me, but rather my good friend. We've been friends since I moved a few years ago. I have to admit that one of my main motivations for becoming his friend in the beginning is because of his sick robotic arm. He was born with both arms, but had to get his right arm amputated after he contracted frostbite when skiing in Colorado with his parents and got a life-threatening infection. So he had this arm for maybe 4 or 5 years. Sorry guys, I had to yawn. We're both 15, and it has gotten upgraded since he first got it. It started off as a simple exoskeleton-like arm with robotic joints that responded to the nerves in his arm. But there was a 4-second delay between him willing the fingers to move and the fingers actually moving. This meant that the only useful thing to do was being able to hold things. Over the years, his parents paid more and more money to make the arm better. And the arm is awesome. It looks a lot more like a real arm with the exception of it being purple. Oh, that's actually really interesting. There's also only a half-second delay as well. He can basically do anything now. Throw, can catch things, use a gaming controller, type, etc. The story. This happened about 2 years ago. My friend and I were on our 8th grade school trip to King's Dominion, a popular amusement park where we lived. We were allowed to go whenever we wanted with minimal supervision, so long as we checked in at a set location every 2 hours. My friend and I had just gotten back from riding a popular ride with half an hour wait time and decided to get a funnel cake to split. We got our food and sat down at one of the few empty tables. We were digging in when we saw the stars of the show, EM and her innocent little boy, maybe 5 or 6, sit down next to us. Innocent kid was about to eat the sundae that EM had bought for him when he noticed my friend's arm. Now my friend never tried to hide his arm. He thought it was as awesome as I thought it was. So IK, being the totally innocent little kid he was, just stared at his arm for about a minute. F saw the kid and just smiled, lifting his hand and making the arm wave at him. Innocent kid squealed in delight, which prompted EM to look up. She seemed as surprised as he was and began asking questions. What happened to your arm? I had to get it amputated from a frostbite-related infection. That sounds terrible. Are you alright? Yeah, I'm fine. I've gotten used to it. Can I get a closer look at it? Shrugging, sure. He walked over to their table and sat between the EM and the IK, laying his arm on the table so they could look at it. Can I touch it? I would prefer if you didn't. It's very expensive. Oh, come on. All he wants to do is touch it. It's not like he'll break it or anything. F visibly Visibility uncomfortable? Okay then. IK taps the arm a few times. I believe the internal parts of the arm are metal, but the external parts are made of some kind of hard, heat-resistant plastic. He then points to a small switch close to the stump of his shoulder. What does that do? Please don't touch it. That will detach my arm. What is detaching? It means my arm will fall off. IK gasps and looks frightened. I cannot talk today, let alone read. My friend quickly assures him that it wouldn't hurt. During this whole conversation, EM is just looking from him to his arm and then back to him. Every once in a while, she would look over her shoulder as if she was considering stealing it. The kid recovers from shock and continues to ask questions. Can you make it fall off so I can wear it? Laughing, you wouldn't be able to wear it. You have both arms. Besides, it's really hard to put back on. The kid looks disappointed but doesn't throw a fit or push him further. The EM, however, looks like she just wants to yeet my friend over the bridge where we were sitting. Don't say no to IK. He's a good little boy. Let him play with your arm. He's been good all week. He deserves to play with it. Sorry, man. The arm cost about $10,000 and I don't have any insurance for it. And I just can't risk damaging it. Blah. I think he meant to say he can keep touching it if he wants. Please, that arm doesn't cost that much, right? She looks at me. Yeah, it did cost that much. I've seen some of the bills he's gotten for the parts. My friend used to show me the bills every time he got new parts for his arm. Well, that doesn't matter. Just let IK play with it. Sorry, no. Mommy, can I go on insert ride name here? 1 minute, honey. I'm just telling this boy to let you play with your arm more. But, Mom, he doesn't want me to play with it anymore. Turning back to my friend and raising voice. Let him play with it. She began to tug at his arm, trying to freaking pull it off. The only thing I knew about his arm connector thing it was attached to his shoulder by clamps, and he was invisible playing. Stop, that really hurts. I don't care. Give it to me. Mommy, stop. Stop pulling his arm, lady. You're hurting him. EM is just pulling harder at this point. She must have somehow flipped the switch that releases the clamps because the arm came flying off, soaring behind the EM and hitting the corner of a railing with a really loud whack. My friend immediately ran over to it and checked it for damages. The EM grabbed her son and began quickly waddling away, but I saw a security guard behind her and quickly informed him on what happened. He caught up to her and she tried swatting him away, but he stood in front of her and called more guards over. They escorted her and her son from the park, and we never saw either of them again. My friend was extremely upset at the wrist of the arm, as the wrist of the arm had slammed into the sharp corner of the railing, which has severed most of the wires connecting the wrist to the forearm, and many of the circuits and other parts were destroyed. He called his mom, and she took us both home early. We told her about what happened, and she said that she would try to find out how much repairs would be. They turned out to be $2,000 USD. His parents couldn't afford the repairs at the moment, so he set up a GoFundMe page. Within a week, he had received the money for repairs. The internet is really cool sometimes. Thanks for reading. Jesus, that's so messed up. That's messed up. What else? Oh no. This one is posted by user Chloe1210MC. EK wants me to write a... Dreary porn... What? That's messed up. And his mom PMs me going, how dare you stay in your fandom? Write this right now for my baby. Oh dear God. This was a few years ago when I was still new to fanfic and stuff. So it completely baffled me at the time, but after years passed and I'd got even more weirder entitled requests, I realized that there were actually people who did these sort of things, and this sub confirmed it for me. Obligatory, my English isn't my mother tongue, mobile, and first post warning. I kind of feel bad cementing this kid into Reddit history because, let's face it, he's probably regretting having the 4th grade syndrome RN. But I just found it too hilarious not to pass up. Lol. Starring HP as Dreary Fanboy, as EK, who's going to regret this phase of his life forever, like the rest of us. Egotistical Mom as the EM, who used all caps everywhere and made my eyes bleed. Oh dear God. Horde of fanboys at the 7-year-olds who read badly written. I don't even know. I can't even censor that, let alone anything. And actually liked, oh dear God. Nice fanfic reader whose role in this story will be shortly uncovered. And of course, me, the obvious star of the story, not really being the oblivious brat that I was. I kind of just stood there with no idea what was happening. Now that the Star Wars worthy opening... That's great. That was really good. Let us move onward. I posted a Naruto fanfic, FFN. It's basically a rite of passage to write poorly written HP, PGO, and Naruto fics honestly. And it was going really well. A few favorites here, a few follows there, and I had more fics lined up. But then I got this really crazy review. I don't quite remember the username of the EK, but I do recall that it was something akin to Dreary Loveheart with a bunch of numbers that mean nothing to me. The review went something like this: spelling mistakes included, apologies for the eyesore that's about to occur. Wow, you're a good writer. Write some dreary fic where... Oh. Okay. I'm not even going to read that. Edit. I forgot to mention that the first review was a guest review with his name signed, so I knew it was him when I deleted his review. He used his account. I thought that this guy was trolling me, but obviously, so I ignored him and deleted that review, but they just kept coming, and he started to PM me as well. I had half a mind to block him and get on with my day, but the immature side of me found it funny as heck, and I decided to see what happened. I'm not going to rewrite some of them because I'm sure that most of you aren't masochist enough to go through more eyesore messages, but there was one that had me just laughing to tears. The EK's prompt was something along the lines of Harry... Jesus. I'm not going to read some of that. He even described in vivid detail, which had me reeling, and I pretty much remember falling onto the floor in tears after that debacle. After a week of receiving these PMs and reviews, I decided to block the guy and be done with it. But when I went through my inbox, there was a new one that piqued my interest. It was Dun Dun. Really? The EK's mom, ranting at me with all caps. I'm not even kidding. I'm sorry for putting your eyes through this convo. Brace yourselves. Yeah, my baby son told me that he's been politely asking you to write a fanfiction about a dragon and his girlfriend Harry. How dare you ignore him and his great request? I demand that you stop writing for your perverted anime manga right now and do what my sonny boy asks. He's just trying to help your bad writing improve. Being the dumbass I was, I replied, hi ma'am, I think you may have pressed all caps key. So now all your typing is in uppercase. I think you have the details wrong. Your son wants me to write him smut about the Harry Potter characters Draco and Harry, and that's not really my cup of tea, so I'm declining. Maybe he'll have luck asking somebody else. How dare you tell me what to do? I'm older than you and should treat me with respect. You know how to spell that? Respect? Wow. And the nerve of you to suggest that my son would want you to write this. I can't even censor this, so write something between two men. God is disgusted with you, and you should get your perverted, dykey thoughts away from normal people and write my son's wholesome idea instead. Boys shouldn't be with boys, and girls shouldn't be with girls. They will go to heck and die alone with everyone hating them. Now, normally I would have been fine, and I would have just reported and blocked her, but some of the stuff she wrote really hit close to home. The last part of her message, if you know, you know, and I actually had an anxiety attack thinking about it. After I had a good cry about it, I decided to look at the silver lining by writing the worst possible, stuff in existence with spelling mistakes and grammar errors galore. The EK fanboy ate it up, lol. Scratch that. A horde of dreary fanboys ate it up. I got loads of favorites and kudos, and the reviews were filled with, "Oh my god, this is so good, write some more." The petulant kids filling the fandom made me worry about the state of mankind and crack up at the same time. It was so funny. The EM sent me a few more messages through EK's account, very noticeable by the all caps, but fearing her homophobic comments, I deleted them all without looking, no matter how curious I was. This is where a nice fanfic reader comes in. He actually wrote some good constructive criticism about the smut story, and I felt so bad about it, lol. I was about to PM him to tell him about the whole fiasco to clear it up, but then he received my other story and he caught on to what I did, since my reviews were littered with the EK's helpful suggestions. We had a nice laugh over it on PM, and after a few days I reckoned that I was being childish and immature by adhering to the EK and EM. So I deleted the story. I was met with a bombardment of PMs from the EK, but I felt that enough was enough, and I blocked him. He created other accounts to continue to harass me, so I deleted my entire fanfiction account too. I didn't really care about my stories being pulled, because really everyone hates their writing after looking back at it a few years later. And I look upon this as one of the most funniest and enlightening stories of my life. Jeez. That's ridiculous. Let me see, what else? Um, This one was posted by user ginger_twists triple T about 21 hours ago. Let me cut off your hair. Little FTP. I don't even know what that means. The first thing you should know about me is that I have extremely long, naturally red hair, and always have. It's led to so many run-ins with crazies in my life, but this one has always stood out to me. So I will do my best to paraphrase what was said. I was 13 years old, and I was waiting for a friend to come out of the bathroom in the mall. An old, entitled woman, EW, with fire truck red hair, and her equally entitled friend, EF, approached me and start touching my hair. EW, oh my, would you just look at that hair? My granddaughter's is almost as long as this. Yes, oh my gosh, except hers isn't this lovely color. Oh, hello, thank you so much. Wow, I have just been looking to get that color for ages. What do you use, sweetheart? This is just my hair, but thank you. Nonsense, look at all those shades in your hair, honey. You obviously got highlights. Yes, it was a good job, too. So what saloon was it? names random saloons in the air. I'm sorry, this is just how it grows. The highlights are from the sun. We're in. Well, if it's real, you'll just have to give me some to take my dye specialist. With this, she reaches into her purse, takes out some tiny nail scissors, and actually tries to cut a chunk of my hair out. She's holding my hair tight and tries to cut way more than a little lock. I rip my hair out of her hands. Ouch. Fast enough that I don't lose hair to her tiny scissors. Wrath and take a few steps back. Stop. You can take a picture if you want. You can show it to your guy then. EW is still waving the scissors around. Absolutely not. This lighting will not be right. I can't get those highlights in a picture. The dye specialist has to know exactly what color. EF getting very loud. She's obviously lying. That selfish brat doesn't want to admit it's fake. Come on, where did your mom get this stuff? People are starting to stare, but I am too panicked to ask for help. They start getting closer to me, and EF makes a grab for my hair now too. I feel bad for leaving my friend, but I just ran away until they were out of sight, and text her that I'm waiting for her at Clary's. She obviously understands once I calm down and tell her what had just happened. I was genuinely a little rattled from this whole experience, especially because they looked like such nice old grandmas. I couldn't believe someone felt entitled to a girl's hair. To this day, the sound of scissors near my head freaks me out. Let me know if this belongs here. I figured entitled grandparents were also technically entitled parents. Haha. And I posted this previously in other entitled subs, and it started getting stolen, so I figured I should just post my own here. Edit. A stolen one. Woman likes my hair and decides to try to cut it. Got deleted. Probably due to a bunch of good guy Gregs liking my post in the comments. That's so dumb. Like... let's see, what's this one? This one was posted by user DankDaniel42069 about 20 hours ago. EM tries to take my electronics and breaks my phone, so I went to a good cop friend. Okay, so here's a bit of backstory. I'm 14 and I collect electronics as a hobby, and I tend to carry around stuff to show friends. Like laptops or old consoles and lots of handhelds and phones. Meet the cast. Me, don't be stupid. Entitled mother is 45-year-old Karen. Oh, dear God. Entitled kid, 6 years. CC is cool cop. MCE is McDonald's employee. Okay, so I went to my local McDonald's by bike as per usual. I do this a lot of the time, and I have been waiting for a friend, and I brought along my Xbox 360 and my laptop, and my DS, and a bunch of old phones to show him, as he doesn't know much about tech. So I walk in, order my stuff, and pull out my laptop and plug it in, and leave my bag open. I didn't think much of it. Now I open up my homework and start working. About 10 minutes after I finish my meal and I start working, and all of a sudden I hear my bag open. I look around to see a little kid helping himself to pull out my Xbox 360. By instinct, I tell him to let go of it and then take it from him. Now I do this, and he goes back to his parents, and then I put my headphones back in to continue listening and working until I feel a tap on my shoulder. And see a Karen looking straight at me. Most of your typical Karens, crap, and the following conversation happens. Yes, hi, my son said you took his Xbox away. I was confused, and at the same time furious, like, damn, this Karen damn well knew I bought that Xbox 360. I'm sorry to inform you, but I bought it. Did you just try to argue with me? Now I have a receipt stored digitally on my phone, so I show it to her. She then proceeds to shatter my iPhone 6S, and the best part, she yells at me about this in a effing McDonald's. So I'm almost done until I get an idea. I record her screaming with my DS sound recorder, and it worked. So I grab my shit and run out after 5 seconds, after 5 recordings of her screaming, and I run to my bike and I try to brush her off. I lost her, and I go to one of the cops I met at elementary school. And I and that cop were good friends, so I knew where he lived, and he was fine with it. I knocked on his door, and the following conversation ensues. Yes, Daniel? Hi, a crazy woman came up to me at McDonald's and tried to take my stuff. Well, do you have any proof? I pull out my DS and play the recording. Okay, I'll take you to the McDonald's. So a few minutes later, we arrive, and we enter. CC asks, hi, my good friend Daniel has a voice clip of screaming and claims that a woman came and tried to take his stuff. Proceeded to scream at him for not giving her his stuff and breaks his iPhone. Do you have any cameras? MCE. Yes, follow me. He leads us into a security room and plays the video. I played along with the voice recordings and they matched. After that, we asked to see footage of her entering her car with the parking lot cams. We see her license plate and he writes it down. And then we exit the McDonald's thanking the McDonald's employee. When we enter the car and Cool Cop then types the license plate number on his laptop, a woman's face comes up and he asks, is this the woman who attacked you? I take a good look and it's the exact Karen. He types her address into a GPS and then we drive to her house. We knock on the door and the following event issues. Yes, EM sees me and the cop, realizes she's effed, but just before she could close the door, I put my foot in between the door and it hurt, but it was worth it. I open the door and the cop pulls her out. Ma'am, you are under arrest for verbal assault of a minor, public disturbance, and attempted theft. Tries to grab me, but gets tasered. Oh, God. The cop takes her and gives me my bike back and says, thanks, Daniel. You helped me a lot in this situation. Also, you're welcome. Here's your bike back and have a nice day. He then gets in the car and drives off. I found out she got 2 months in prison for resisting arrest and had to pay me $300 for a new phone due to her bending it while breaking it. After that, I never heard from her again. Hope that taught her a lesson. That's karma. That is karma and a half. Man. Oh, boy. This is an update for this post. For those who haven't read my other posts, know that I'm mute and use a pen and paper to communicate, since only Sarah, my twin, and our uncle know sign language, I believe. Cast so far: me is the majestic gummy. Wow. Kevin, my service dog, husband of the entitled parent. CW1 is coworker. Today, class ended early, so I decided that since no one was home, I would go to the skate rink and wait for Sarah before heading home. Anyway, I arrive at the skate rink and hurry off to my little hideaway, but someone called out to me. Not just any someone, it was the husband whose voice I recognized. I closed the door behind me. The door to get in is right next to the exchange counter, and wave at my coworker before going into my workspace. While I'm setting my backpack and portfolio in my corner, coworker knocks on one of the cubbies that we set skates in. He says that the husband wants to talk to me, so I go to see what he wants. Figuring that maybe he just figured me for someone else. After all, I did make a beeline for the exchange area. It's like 10 feet from the entrance. The husband asked if I had designed the custom inline skates that were on display near the entrance, to which I nod. And then he makes small talk about how they are cool. All the while, I'm just nodding, which raised a flag, because normally after 10 minutes of talking, people usually notice when the other party hasn't said a word. While he talks about the skates, then he dropped the bomb asking if I was one of the people his wife talked to. Now the skate exchange section, counter and all, is raised off the floor a bit. just how the place was built. Oh, sorry guys. So we can actually see people's phones. Given that he glanced up at me, he isn't that good at being discreet. Twice I found it rather odd, so I tried to get a look at his screen and I froze. The guy has a picture of me walking on the sidewalk. It was somewhat out of focus and looked like it had been taken from inside a house, so the only conclusion I can come to is I walked by their house without realizing it, but I recognized Kevin, and I've yet to see anyone who dyes their hair the same color I do, if at all. I backed away and wrote on my notepad to coworker telling him to keep an eye on the husband while I told my uncle and Sarah my sister lost it and video called me within almost seconds after sending the text asking if I'm okay with where I was. Meanwhile, our uncle called the police and said to stay in my work area, which I've already planned on doing from the start when I found out class was canceled. Anyways, I'll update later tonight if and when something happens. Edit. So the officer arrived and questioned the husband. Apparently, the husband claims that he just wanted to speak with me. Also, EP sent him the picture of me with the attached text saying, "Let me know if you find her at the skating rink," but there isn't much that can be done since he can't confirm it's actually me in the pic. WTF. This doesn't make sense given that I don't imagine a lot of people dye their hair the same shade of hot pink like I do in the pic. Isn't so out of focus that you can't compare it to me. I explained what EP did and that my uncle can show him the security footage. Only the owner, my uncle, can access the security tapes to prove it. Oddly enough, according to the officer, the husband claims that EP and the girl in the picture are actually friends. Giving the contradicting stories the officer wanted to see for himself. A few minutes after that, Sarah and her uncle arrived. Uncle is with the officer now, and Sarah and I are just waiting. Edit 2. According to my uncle, the EP was arrested. He said that when the officers arrived to question her, the EP ran. The husband also denied knowing why the EP would run and left with the officer who questioned me. Apparently, the officers want to keep in contact with us just in case anything comes up, and they need us to come in. For those of you wondering, I did ask my uncle if the officers told him what they had found, and he says that illegal substances on her person, but otherwise that's all they found. I really don't know what to make of any of that, but it honestly really worries me that an EP wanted her husband to find me at the skating rink. Needless to say, Sarah and I's uncle has already planned to take me to and from my classes for the next few weeks. I'm sorry for making any of you worry. I honestly just thought he was going to try and apologize on his wife's behalf to me. Well, that didn't work out for you, did it? That's so dumb, honestly. Anyways, guys, I'll be right back. I gotta go grab something. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to hit the like button, comment, subscribe, hit the bell next to my subscribe button so that way you never miss a video. That way you'll become part of #DestroyerNation and Notification Squad, and I will see you guys in the next video. Keep on rocking Destroyer Nation. Peace.
Oh my baby, I'm staring at you, so I'm crazy. Why you been that bad for me? We won't stop, got your feet both fly. You get to fly with me. I can take you down for a ride. I take you around my life. Jaywalking, crosswalking, live like a true. I know it, you know it, we make it. take you down for a ride. Take you around my mind. Do you want me? Cross walking, look like a truck. On your way, oh my baby.
Bye!